morning, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me over here and enjoying my stay in hospitality. And I hope I can share with you some of the experience we have had in Iceland and some of the other Nordic countries for over the past 50 years. We started cervical screening in 1964 and has been a success. Cervical screening is probably one of the most effective health measures one can undertake. It's as effective as childhood immunization. If it's done properly and women show up, you would probably decrease. Well, the CDC in the US says that no woman should die of cervical cancer, and you should be able to prevent about 93% of cervical cancer. So this is an area which should be focused on. And let's not forget that cervical cancer is the leading age of cervical cancer is about 45 years old. So we are talking about women in their best times of their lives, women who have most often young children and older parents, and we sometimes call them the sandwich generation, the children and the parents. So I want to go through our program in a short while. We have an organized cervical cancer program like most of the Nordic countries, and when they put up in a screening program, it's a cervical, colorectal, mammo, or breast cancer screening, it should be organized. Organized screening program is always going to be cheaper than non-organized, and it's also going to be more effective, so you can get more for your money. This is a picture of Iceland. I don't know if you know it. The green dots represent primary health stations. This is Reykjavik. In Reykjavik, we have one center that does like 40% of the cervical screening. Another 20% of the screening is done in health centers around the coast. Most of these are small fishing villages, except for Akureyri, which is kind of a regional hospital. And the other one are small fishing or agricultural villages around the coast. Nobody lives in the middle. It's kind of like a desert. So 20% are done in the countryside, and 40% of the screening or pap smears are done by private gynecologists, which most of them are in Reykjavik. Like many good things, and some of the things you are doing here with the Foundation for Medication is done by women. Women who think about others. This is taken like 50 years ago when women filled the only local cinema in Reykjavik. This is when the cervical screening program was introduced in Iceland, and they were introduced to women. And this is just to show us the similarity that the foundation is doing here, asking women to participate and to increase the effectiveness of the program. Our program is now, it started in 64 and then started at age 25 through 69, and it was every other year or every third year. In 69 it went nationwide, and in 88 it changed it from we started at 20 to 69 every other year. And then they had tried to stratify it for every 4 years for women who had a history of normal pap smears for some years. But then we simplified it again in 2014, and now we start at 23. We exit, or we stop at 65 this is one of the cancers that we know the cause. The HPV virus causes almost 100% of cervical cancer. We know that cervical cancer is really rare below the age of 25. And most of Europe starts at 23 or 25. The US starts at 21, but there is no consensus on when it starts. By starting at 23, we thought we will give women the time to get rid of the HPV infection. We know in Iceland that in the age group between 18 and 25, 60% are infected with HPV at any time. So most of them are going to be infected. We will have to give them time to get rid of the infection. The method we have used is, so we have used conventional pap smears from 64. We introduced the liquid-based cytology in 2007 in the screening center in Reykjavik, which takes about 40% of all the tests. And we, in 2015, we went completely into liquid-based cytology. And at the same time, we do with HPV triage on low dysplasias, and this is done for us in Karolinska Institute in Sweden, and also the exit tested at 65. If you are PAP negative, or have our own pap smear at 65 and you're HPV negative, your chance of having cervical cancer is almost to none. So we feel comfortable that we can, if we do this, they're double negative, we can exclude them from the program with good confidence. We have also done other changes in our program. In 2013, we have electronic access to screening history, which means that every physician or everyone who is taking a pap smear, if it's a physician or a midwife, I forgot to tell you that when all the pap smears taken around the coast are taken by midwives. Since 2014, we trained all the midwives or nurses to take pap tests. They have all access to the screening history, so they know when the last pap smear was taken and when the next pap test should be taken. Also, also in 2014, we started what we call a bimanual early examination. We started this since in our test clinic in Reykjavik, it used to be a last stop for gynecologists ending their career working for us. Many of them up to 80 years old. They knew their gynecology. Today, it kind of was an obstacle for young women meeting, older men, which were sometimes 80 or more than 80 years old. So we stopped that. There is a consensus that this is not giving anything to the cervical screen, and even it's giving women a false negative assurance of that something is wrong. Plus, we have a very good access to transvaginal ultrasounds. And also, we introduced a uniform payment for smear takers. It used to be that gynecologists got 6 units for taking a smear, and the midwives got 3. So now everyone got 3. 3 units, which is about 6.6 euro. And then we recently, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we introduced a web-based requisition form. So everyone who is going to send us a pap smear will log into this web page. They will fill out all the forms. Before, the forms were often not very good filled out, missing information. Now, everyone who's going to take a smear has to fill out, and you can't send the form unless if all the information, the lab values as important, has to be filled out. So this has been a game changer also. These smear takers are talking about this, 40% in the detection clinic in Reykjavik. There's a co-payment for the woman of about 28 euros. I don't know how much this was. You probably don't. And now we only have midwives in the clinic. And the rural health centers, 20%, same thing, all the midwives. And then we have the private gynecologists, and you see there's more than double the women has to pay for that. And this screen, I don't know if you see this, but this is just to show us that even in an organized screening program we have, there is going to be, not everything is going to be function optimal. This is kind of what you call an always screening by the private gynecologist. So everything that's marked in yellow is always screening. And the definition we use for always screening that if more than 10% of your pap smears are taken without the guidelines, like at the 3rd year, until the age of 23 or over the age of 65. So we wanted to, we have guidelines, and we are trying to follow the European guidelines on cervical screening quality. So the Danes in Denmark, they set the limit at 5%. So when we introduce this, we'll have a slack in the system, or we will put out 10%. And you see that some of the gynecologists are taking, like 30% of their smear takers or pap smears are always green. They're having women coming in every single year. And what this creates is that this creates costs for the taxpayer, for us. It's a cost, it's increased and has a cost for the woman in the form of co-pay. It increases the risk of over-diagnosis for doing colonoscopies or repeat pap smears. It also increases the risk of fertilization. And the only one who is benefiting from this system is the private gynecologist. So we said, we can't, as a program, we can't participate in this with. So either you stick to the guidelines, you have 10% chance of overscreening, which you any pap smears taken on clinical indications, and you see what happened. Most of them, and you could do this because they have access to the screening history every month. So they have the information. And what happened is that nobody wanted to be the worst gynecologist in the class. So last year we only had 1. And behind this was just 5 pap smears. So if you give information back to the physicians, most of them want to do a good job. And this is just to, and this is just how the overscreening went down. Cancer, cervical cancer is not that frequent in Iceland. second problem we are having as US is coverage. How will we have the women come in? Even though we are at 71% now, we want to go up to 80%. And this is a challenge for us, just as it is for us. And I have learned something here, and I think Eva showed you this, that you can decrease the incidence by like 70%, and the mortality by like 90%. Plus, you can the mortality rates in Iceland has increased from 59 to 66. And the effect, the blue columns show us how many women die every single year from cervical cancer in Iceland. If we didn't have a screening program, or we had an infected screening program, we will, instead of losing like 2 women every single year, we would be losing 2 women every single month. That's the red columns. We have a